externalities and how to use supply and demand analysis to show how a corrective subsidy can externalize the positive externalities during pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. Here are the presenters. We have me, Ahmad Amizi Abdullah, Syarul Khairi Mustafa Kamal, Nur Muhammad Daniel Ifan Nur Hamli, Tunku Nur Mastura Tunku Jaafar, and Nurul Ain Ahmad. What are externalities? Externalities by nature are generally environmental, such as natural resources or public health. Externalities are costs or benefits of market transactions not reflected in price. Production or consumption affects a third party benefit or cost to the third party are not considered by consumers or sellers. People who are pay the cost of polluted air and water are considered third parties. We have two types of externalities, positive and negative externalities. I will explain what negative externalities is. Negative externalities are also called external costs, which is cost to third parties other than the buyer or the sellers of an item not reflected in the market price. Negative externalities occur when the consumption or production causes a harmful effect to a third party. Pollution of the air from factories and noise from the air travel are two common examples of negative externalities. For positive externalities, I will pass to Syarul Khairi to explain.
Hi, my name is Syarul Khairi Mustafa Kamal. Today I would like to present about the positive externality. A positive externality is a benefit that a third party receives a result of an economic transaction. Individuals who gain from a positive externality without paying a term free riders, yet it may be in a society best interest to encourage free riders to purchase commodities that produce significant externality benefits. For the next slide, there are three types of positive externality. The first one is financial relief, wage subsidies, and the last one is conditional cash transfers. For the next slide is financial relief. A government grant a monetary reward provided by the federal or state or the government body to support a worldwide initiative. Furthermore, grants will encourage young entrepreneurs to launch enterprise in the midst of the epidemic. When the MCO expired, Malaysia's economy will be able to recover from recession because there will be no employment for people to return to. The next one is consumer demand for new goods and services has increased as a result of the epidemic and lockdown. To meet consumer demand, SMEs create innovative goods and services. SMEs not only support economic growth in an economy that contributed 6.2% GDP in 2018, but they are also create job possibility accounting for 66% of unemployment in Malaysia. To summarize all, government grants are an efficient strategy to save small firms from collapsing due to lack of revenue during MCO period. Small firms in Malaysia seek urgent assistance to balance operational expenses without laying off employees or reducing salaries. The next one is wage subsidies. Wage subsidies are financial assistance provided to companies in order to keep low-skilled workers from losing their jobs. With the position already paying low wages, the wage cut put them at danger of falling into poverty. Furthermore, low-skilled employees are most likely to be unemployed since they are unable to work remotely. Furthermore, individuals with less inclined to change their customer spending if salaries are subsidized. The purpose of wage subsidy is to guarantee that Malaysia has V-shaped recovery. Following the MCO, consumer demand may see as fast change in Malaysia. The last one is conditional cash transfer. Conditional cash transfer or CCT programs provide funds to the family in exchange for meeting certain criteria. The CCT should be main tested so that those who are most in need of financial help can get to them. CCT is a long-term and a short-term treatment. It is not only relief to the poor financial burden, but the condition established may stimulate economic growth by investing healthcare and education. Furthermore, CCT can give immediate relief to those who are financially strapped or trapped, as well as distribute money, therefore addressing the issue of income is inequality. As a result, there is an urgent need to more equal distribute commodities and service in order to satisfy the fundamental requirements of all Malaysia residents in the Malaysia. Thank you.
So next we look into positive externalities. So in positive externality, the price does not fully equal the marginal social benefit of a good or services. Different from the negative externality, which is the price is not equal the marginal social cost of a good. So the marginal external benefit is a positive externality, which is the benefit of additional output adding to parties other than buyer and seller of the good. Example, let's say we have inner pollution. We take vaccine, we insert virus into our body to harm another virus such as COVID-19. So when there is a vaccine to against the disease, there will be a benefit to the other parties whom do not taken the vaccine. So it can reduce the probability the disease will spread to the other parties. Next, we look into the diagram. We can see the market equilibrium happens at point U, when there is an intersection between the supply and demand curve, and the equilibrium price is 25 ringgit with 10 millions of vaccination per year. Let's say there is positive externalities. The government will give the benefit 20 ringgit for each vaccination. So when there is marginal external benefit, point U will become inefficient. Why? Because the marginal private benefit must be added by marginal external benefit. So it will become marginal social benefit. So the marginal private benefit is now larger than marginal social benefit, and marginal social benefit is larger than marginal social cost at point U. So when there is marginal external benefit, the price will be 45 ringgit. So it will be not efficient. The inoculation purchases when 10 million per year are 45 ringgit. To make it become efficient, the output must fulfill the marginal social benefit equal to marginal social cost. So the efficient output of vaccination correspond to point V. The same diagram, we next look into what consumer can gain. At first, we look into marginal social cost. When there is a marginal external benefit, the efficient output will be at point V with the price at 30 ringgit. But how much the price that are paid by the consumer? So we look into demand curve, which is D. The price at price 30 ringgit, the demand curve will be at point H. Price 10 ringgit at 12 million per year. So the net gain will be in the area of UZV.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Tengku Mastura binti Tengku Jaafar. So now it's my turn to explain about a corrective subsidies, a means of internalizing a positive externalities. What is a corrective subsidy? Corrective subsidy is a payment paid by a government to the either buyers or sellers for the good so that the price paid by the consumer is reduced. The payment must equal to the marginal external benefit of the good or service. A payment from the government to the producers or consumers of a merit good or one that creates a positive externalities in its production or consumptions meant to achieve a more socially optimal level of output. As you can see the graph beside me, it explains the competitive market achieved its equilibrium at 10 million inoculations per year at the competitive market price of 25 ringgit Malaysia per inoculation. This is inefficient because at this level, the marginal social benefit exceeds its marginal social cost. However, it is supposed that the government subsidizes 20 ringgit Malaysia per person. This subsidy, it adds 20 ringgit Malaysia to the marginal private benefit of each inoculation. As the demand inoculation increases, the demand curve shifts to the right. Thus, the market equilibrium moves from point U to point V. As the market price of inoculation increases to 30 ringgit Malaysia to cover increased marginal cost of production, however, the net price after receiving the subsidy declines for consumers. Now, the net price is 30 ringgit Malaysia minus 20 ringgit Malaysia equal to 10 ringgit Malaysia per inoculation. This reduction in the net price to consumers increases the quantity demanded to 12 million per year, the efficient output.
Hi, my name is Nura and Ahmad, and now I will continue to explain about the subsidies. As you can see here, the subsidy is equal to P0 minus P2. Then the supply curve shifts to S2 and the price falls from P1 to P2. People will now consume more, whereas the quantity increases from Q1 to Q2. Hence, the output, which is Q2, is social efficient. This is because the social marginal cost, SMC, is equal to social marginal benefit, SMB. Moving on to the advantages of subsidies. The first one is enables greater social efficiency. This means consumers end up paying the socially efficient price, which includes the external benefit. For example, if you subsidize public transport, it will encourage people to drive less and reduce the negative externalities. While in the long term, subsidies for a good will help change preferences. This means it will encourage firms to develop more product with positive externalities. Next is the potential problems of subsidies. As you can see here, the cost will have to be met through taxation. Some taxation, for example, income tax, may reduce to work. Although the most efficient way to raise revenue for subsidizing positive externalities, it will be to tax goods with negative externalities, such as tax cars driving in a city centre, which means it has congestion charge and use the money to pay the public transport. Next is difficult to estimate the extent of the positive externality. Therefore, the government may have poor information about the service and how much to subsidize. For the last one is there is a danger that government subsidies may encourage firms to be inefficient and they come to rely on subsidy rather than improve efficiency. Alright, for example, there is government failure. This occurs when government intervention in the economy causes an inefficient allocation of resources and decline in economic welfare. Usually, government failure arises from an attempt to solve market failure but creates a different set of problems. Now, I will explain about the subsidy with elastic and inelastic demand. Based on the graph, we can see that the effect depends on the elasticity of the demand. Basically, if demand is price elastic, a subsidy leads to large increase in demand. However, if demand is price inelastic, a subsidy is relatively ineffective in increasing demand. So, the ultimate encouragement to consume is to make the good completely free at the point of consumption, such as with freely available hospital treatment for COVID-19 disease. Plus, the government can also provide free information to consumers to compensate for the information failure that discourage consumption. In conclusion, if individuals are fully informed about the benefits of consuming goods and services that generate external benefits, they may develop a better understanding of the product and demand more of it. For example, public information broadcasts, such as COVID-19 awareness program, it also can reduce the ignorance of people and encourage them to wear masks and use hand sanitizer whenever they are going out. I think that's all from us. Thank you.